Virginia High School Bearcat football will be on the air in 5 minutes. Until tonight's coverage of Bearcat football. Until airtime. Seconds from Bearcat football. Seconds to go. "15 seconds. All right, you guys have fun on the call. Go Cats.
You're listening to Virginia High Bearcat football on Spreaker Radio.
Middle and he's in. Touchdown. Falling in. Jamie Lathrop. What a juke move. And bye-bye as he made it into the end zone.
What a play.
The touchdown Bearcats. Touchdown. Wow. Virginia High. Talk about electricity. He's into the end zone. Touchdown.
Big number 10.
Lathrop looking deep down the field. He's got a man. That's Carroll. Makes the catch at the 5, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown Cats. Lathrop dropping straight back, looking down to Carroll, and he's got him. Over-the-shoulder catch. Touchdown Cats. The Cats hold off 3A Abingdon 20-19.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Tazewell, Virginia, where the Virginia High Bearcats open their 2018 season against the Tazewell Bulldogs in a Thursday night Southwest District clash under the lights here in Coal Country. Of course, under the lights in a few minutes. That's definitely not what the case we have right now with the sun coming in. I'm Dylan Hutton alongside Travis DeBusk and our statistician Kevin Corbett, ready to bring you the action of Week 1 here on Bearcat Radio as Coach Chris and the Bearcats look to jumpstart the season with a road win, a year removed from hosting the first playoff game since 2002 and winning 7 games for the first time since 2004. When the Cats and Dogs have met recently, Virginia High has won the recent meetings and won the last 3, but this year's Tazewell team shows promise under the leadership of second-year head coach Jamie Harris. Historically, Virginia High has not played well within the confines of Bulldog Stadium, just 9-25 all time. This is the 75th meeting between the Cats and the Dogs, and it's a special one, and it's going to set the tone for 2018, not only for these two teams, but for the entire Southwest Virginia, as this is only one of the 2 games in the area tonight, and we will cover both of those for you. But, of course, the main one here, as we'll see if the Cats can move from a summer of anticipation to a fall that will hopefully be full of excitement and jubilation. And with that, I welcome into the booth for the first time for the pregame show Travis DeBusk and also Kevin Corbett joining us. And Travis, first of all, we've done a lot of broadcasts together in about every sport, but football, it always brings us closer.
Oh, yeah. Football is definitely the game we're looking for. And I just thank you, Dylan. I'm certainly excited to be a small part here of Bearcat Radio for the 2018 football season. You know, as you just mentioned, we've worked together quite a bit in the past, providing coverage of Southwest Virginia high school football, and was always waiting and hoping that the opportunity would present itself again for us to work together. Now, I never really imagined it would be here with Virginia High, with the Bearcats. However, there is a bit of an interesting dynamic that ties it all together. Dylan, you and I, as well as our parents, we're all alumni of Patrick Henry Glade Spring. Now, the reason I mention our parents in this and PH Glade Spring is a lifetime ago in the old Southwest District, not this new creation we've had here recently, but Patrick Henry and Virginia High and also Tazewell were all members in that. From around 1970 through the mid-1980s, the 3 teams faced off against each other every season. So through many rounds of realignment and population shifts one way or the other, Tazewell and Virginia High are back here. They're back in the Southwest District. Now, call that about 7 degrees of separation, but nonetheless a pretty cool side story as I begin my first season here with the Bearcats. Again, Dylan, thanks for asking me to be a part of this, and also thanks to Virginia High Bearcat AD Brad Harper and all of Virginia High School for letting me tag along. And just like Dylan mentioned, we want to take a moment and introduce someone I think is pretty well known in the Virginia High School circles. He's a Virginia High School graduate himself, and that is Mr. Kevin Corbett. We are very thankful to have him here to help us track stats this season, so we're just going to say welcome to Kevin.
Yeah, we don't have him mic'd up tonight, but you never know. Throughout the rest of the year, it's a long season. We might need to fill in. We can get Kevin to join us, but we do thank him for coming along. He made the trip up with us. A lot of stories will be told this season, I have a feeling, on the road to all of our opponents. So we welcome you to the Bearcat Kickoff Show, our countdown to kickoff. Again, coverage tonight brought to you by Sesco Insurance. So let's take a look at, we talked about things to build on, and most of the season we're going to have 3 takeaways from the last game, but instead this week we're talking about things to build on from last season. And there's a lot to build on, and a lot of guys returning. So we'll go to those things to build on right now as the Cats will look to improve in district play.
Yeah, certainly. They finished a second in the district last year, and so there's only one way to go, and that's up, of course, and just got one team to leapfrog there. And not that finishing second is anything to be ashamed of. You're playing in one of the toughest districts in this end of the state, so you can't hang your head about that. But certainly the Bearcats should make winning the Southwest District a priority. And if the cards fall right, that goal is not beyond their reach.
And the second thing that we want to go to as a key to keep up with from last year's team was pass heavy. This year's team is built for the run, it seems like.
Yeah, so we've seen them in the scrimmage against Union last week. Looks like they're going to have several running backs to choose from, and we'll hit on those as the night goes. But, yeah, I think maybe they need to choose to try to run the ball a bit more in 2018. Last season, the Cats were fairly balanced on offense, I guess. They were somewhere around 200 pass attempts to 311 rushing attempts. Now, 200 passes, that's a lot of passes in our region, which has traditionally seen most good teams pound the running game. Now, this is not a knock at all on VHS quarterback Jamie Lathrop. We know he can sling it, and he has capable wide receivers. With the talent Jamie has lining up with him in the backfield, though, use that speed and cutting ability of these running backs to help set up the big pass downfield. Let's not forget Jamie's wheels himself. He's going to be coming out of the speed option look. The other thing running the ball does is it allows the clock to be a little more in your favor. And that could be big when we take on teams with a bit more depth. Of course, we must address right now the loss of offensive coordinator Garrett Ombergy to the Abingdon Falcons. Now, what kind of effect is that going to have on the offense? It's certainly going to, have some effect. We just don't know what just yet.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit with Coach Belcher I did yesterday. It doesn't seem like that layoff is going to be that big of a difference. Belcher is a Virginia High guy, been around this program for a long time, and it just sort of felt right for him to fit right in from that. He's coached wide receivers, offensive line, and this year he's moved over and taken the head spot as the offensive coordinator. And we couldn't go without talking about this vaunted Bearcat defense from a year ago. A lot of new faces, though, in that front seven.
Yeah, I think on the defensive side of the ball is where most of the work is going to need to be done to improve on last year. Returning at middle linebacker is the beast Aaron Rose. He led the team in 2017 with 100 tackles, including 3 for loss. Now, seeing as how he plays running back on the offensive side of the ball, he knows how to scan the gaps and get an eye on the ball carrier to make the big stick. Now, that being said, the bulk of Rose's help is gone. Bobby Medley has moved on, along with his 79 tackles he had in 2017. Also, Virginia High had 19 sacks last season. The guys who accounted for 16 of those 19 sacks are not on this 2018 squad. The scrimmage against Union last week exposed some issues on that defensive line that I think really need to get ironed out, and they need to get ironed out as soon as they can.
And we also talked about that secondary, and I believe it's going to see a boost. The Cats last year gave up 150 yards per game passing, but this group in 2018 is loaded with senior leadership. Colton Ratcliffe, Torian Bizel, and Austin Davidson in the back end of that defense. And over the top, you have good coverage from a junior safety, Hunter Wright, who Coach Chris talked a lot about in our interview, which we'll get to in a moment. But, again, it comes back to that defensive front, and if they can force opposing QBs into making some quick throws that the secondary can take advantage of.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then let's move on to special teams. People like to forget about that, but the special teams play across the board last season was stellar, at Virginia High. It was stellar. Senior Colton Ratcliffe, he will be handling the bulk of the kicking and punting duties this year. He will be replacing a big leg in Lane Carroll, who was 25 of 37 on extra point attempts last season. Interesting to note, however, that on punt defense, Last year, Ratcliffe himself recorded 3 block punts. Michael Bradley also contributed 1, so 4 block punts last season for the Bearcats. Senior Austin Davidson, he's going to be returned both a punt and a kickoff back for a touchdown last year. So the Cats are dangerous in special teams.
And early in the year, that's where a lot of the breads buttered last year against Tazewell. The Cats won 35-0. 2 of those touchdowns came on special teams. One of them a kickoff return, the other a blocked punt.